Emma, how we doing tonight?
Doing good. How about yourself?
We are blessed as always. We have been missing gymnastics, so we're glad to have you on. We've been marking this date on the calendar for a while because um, every year around this time we start talking to some gymnasts, and we've been missing out. So you're the first gymnast of the season. We're ready to get after it a little bit and talk all things Arkansas with you. But first, getting out the gate, let's warm up into this interview a little bit. Let's do some icebreakers. Tell me, who's your favorite athlete of all time?
Hmm. My favorite athlete of all time was probably Usain Bolt, just because he is just a crazy kind of guy that he's set world records. He's done anything that you can just come up with unanswered questions. He is just the guy that you can go to for any world records, like he's the kind of guy that you can just find like the Guinness World Book of Records. Like he can break any kind of
You
record. You know
think
what I
when
mean?
he's like 60, he'll still be faster than like
Yeah,
the average person?
I do.
He'll be faster than me backwards.
No, yeah. Like he's the kind of guy that he's like the Simone Biles of gymnastics. She is still competing nowadays, and she just got first place at the most recent competition, literally that happened like 2 days ago.
Daniel, you
He
just brought that up last episode.
And it wasn't even close, was it, Emma? For
honestly, it was like closer than it has been in the past. It was like narrowed down to about 3.5 points, and that is closer than it has ever been by
But she
Shiley
still
Stone.
made it look easy for somebody who'd taken a break.
Yeah, and she still didn't do her like hardest difficulty, which is crazy. That's literally inhumane. And so it's
she's warming up, right?
she's just warming up. She got married, she went on her honeymoon, she's been on vacation. She just came back for a little warm up and still beat everyone by like 3.5 points. So there's that.
Yeah, for sure. So, if you were in a horror movie, all right, scary
Mm,
movie, horror movie, you got to pick two of your teammates to get you through it. Who are you picking?
that's a good question. I love that. I'd probably pick Jensen Scalzo, which is my teammate that is my same year. We're both seniors, and literally, we just came into an encounter. We were both in our driveway, and this random man came up to our window, and I literally started freaking out. And she was like, "Emma, just let him know that you're here." And I was like, "No, I'm gonna hide." And she's like, "No, let him know that you're here." So definitely Jensen. She's always like ready to like just encounter the scary parts. Number two would be Frankie Price, but she is deathly afraid of scary movies. She like gets the urge to throw up when she watches scary movies, but she's my girl to go to whenever I'm handling someone that's scary. Scary.
That's. I mean, you need that person. They're clutch. Maybe that's what it is. In the moment, she can step up and do what you need her to do.
Right. Yes.
He's going to be the one to tell you not to run up the stairs like all the women who make the bad decisions in the scary movies, right? Like go out the front door, not up the stairs.
I
The
mean, it
scary.
doesn't matter. If you run in a scary movie, the bad guy is going to walk and still catch you. Like
You're going to
I
trip
don't.
on something.
Yeah,
The girls in scary movies are just so stupid. Like, I can't stand it. I like watch it. I'm like, use your common
Well, if
sense.
they had someone intelligent, they would survive, and then what would we really actually have to watch? The stupidity is
Right.
required.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
all right, Emma, if you were gonna sing karaoke, what would be your go-to song?
If I had to sing a karaoke song, it'd be TikTok by Kesha. I know every
Uh,
single word of that song. If you wake me up in the middle of a nap or if I'm hyped up on Red Bull, I know that song.
Daniel, we've been friends for 28 years. True confession to you, I actually like Kesha. Like when she comes up in my random shuffle, like I start jamming.
Let's go. That's a real person right there.
So what I've learned is that, TikTok, it doesn't matter. Awake, asleep, you could get up and you're ready to roll. And
Oh yeah,
what I learned from Jim is that he is a undercover Kesha fan.
Kesha lover.
Right?
Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy.
what up,
Grab
girl?
my glasses, I'm
Well,
out the door.
to
I'm
no
gonna
surprise,
hit this
Daniel,
city.
Let's go.
Before I leave,
my favorite
brush my
athlete is a
teeth
diehard
with a
Kesha fan.
bottle of
Westbrook
Jack.
loves
Oh,
Kesha.
wow.
Leave for the night. I ain't coming
Are you mean
back.
to like?
I'm talking pedicure on our toes.
I mean, that is
Are you picturing her
That's
singing
taking-
it, Daniel, on the stage, like jamming, like she's dancing back and forth, like the crowd's getting hyped?
no. I picture this like
That's my
as soon as it pops, like I'm thinking about her like dead asleep, and then boom, she's up like a dynamite, just getting after it. I mean, that's
I sing so
That-
bad. I would hope that the crowd would sing along with me so they would actually overtake my horrid voice.
see, that's always been my advice to anybody that sings karaoke. Do a crowd favorite. That way, they do the work for you.
No,
No.
honestly, that's my anthem. So I don't even care what you do with that. I'm proud no matter what. Kesha's my girl.
It's low key a banger for sure. So,
I know.
celebrity crush growing up. When growing up,
Zendaya.
like, who's your go-to crush?
Girl crush, Zendaya.
Oh, Zendaya.
That's my
Right.
girl crush. But nowadays, I don't know if we can say that. So let me get
Who's the boy crush?
probably 4 from Divergent.
No.
4.
Theo James is his real name.
Daniel,
Right.
that's a popular. My daughter's 17, and I'm not gonna say my wife's age on here and get her in trouble. They both like 4 too, so 4 is popular amongst multiple generations.
I mean, it's
I'm
that too. It
I'm
just
gonna need them to do a
Dang.
better job naming their characters. 4.
okay.
Well, it's Divergent. Like it's a different kind of movie theme, Daniel. Their name they have numbers for a reason.
I can do a different type of movie.
No.
I have. If I need to, I can.
No, your
Y'all let
answer's
me-
fine. Daniel's just outdated, is all, Emma. It's okay.
I
Somehow
don't think
I'm
I've ever
older than
seen
him.
it. I think that's
Somehow
my
I'm
problem.
older than
I don't
him, but
watch
he's
movies.
old.
Yeah,
So
I don't watch movies. That's my problem.
So you're just too old.
No, it's not that. I mean, I am old, but it's not I'm too old to watch movies. It's
I'm kidding. That was a joke.
I think what it is I get wrapped up into TV shows or like series where like I get invested and then I can't stop until it ends. And then
What's
at
your-
that point,
favorite TV series.
oh man, my favorite of all time. Oh man,
Yeah.
there's so many. So obviously Sopranos is definitely up there all time. All right.
Haven't-
So big fan of that. I just got done watching The Righteous Gemstones, and like I think that's funny. That's
What's crazy is
kinda
Emma
humor.
is when I was down there visiting them like 2 months ago, him and his wife have taken on the challenge of starting Grey's Anatomy from the beginning. They're gonna spend an entire lifetime getting caught up on that show.
There is 17 episodes, and it's like 40 episodes or 17 seasons, and there's like 30 to 40 episodes a season.
You're never gonna get there, bro.
Good luck
Never.
watching that one.
And it's still going on. That's the
Oh.
problem.
Never end. I don't know how, but
Oh.
I'm.
And what aggravates me, but it draws me in is like every episode, it's this unimaginable like tragedy.
No, you're
And
so. It's like
I-
liver transplant.
Right. It's like, oh, there's a bomb in the hospital, but we're also trying to do heart transplant while the bomb is in here. I'm like,
So right.
what planet does that happen? But
Can give you one suggestion. Watch the show called Suits. It's on Peacock.
That is what me and my wife are currently watching. I think we're
Oh,
in the 3rd season. Suits
my-
is awesome.
Me and my boyfriend just finished it. Oh, it's so good.
All right, I gotta ask you, who do you like better, Harvey or Mike?
Mike.
It's tough though, right? You said it kind of like it was easy, but Harvey's so cool. Like, I don't
No.
know.
No, yeah, no, you're right. Harvey's definitely like the dad that everyone would want because he's just so successful. But Mike is just the kind of guy that is so real. and you just want them in your.
I mean, to spoil it for Daniel, anyone who can con their way into being a lawyer when they never went to law school is just amazing.
It's just a genius. But that could not be me. But if I could do it, I would.
Well, speaking of doing it, are you going to the football game this Saturday? It's the big question. It's season opener. Are you going to call the Hogs? That's what I need to know.
As much as I want to, unfortunately, I'm not.
Well, you know, that's the life. I mean, you got to sacrifice sometimes. Unfortunately, you know, you won't be there at the game physically, but I'm sure you'll be there in spirit. So, you know,
Yes, sir.
call the Hogs a few times before the game, and you know, whatever you got going on, I'm sure it's probably gymnastics related, I would imagine, just because you guys are killing it and you're one of the top teams in the country. So, I mean, in order to do that, you gotta practice a lot. So, I'm sure that's what's
Yes.
going on. But
Well, before we get into your story, speaking of going to games, I gotta ask you, Emma. I've been watching the videos. I'm fascinated. I don't know if you've seen it yet. The record has been set, world record at that Nebraska volleyball, 92,003 in attendance tonight. They did it out in their football stadium.
Of course I would. Are you kidding?
So I
That
asked one of our guests who won a national championship at Kentucky, Maddie Berezowitz. I asked her what, you know, she would do if she played in front of 90,000 people, and she said she would throw up everywhere. I got to ask you, what would it, I mean, I've obviously been to the meets that y'all go at, you know, y'all have had up to what, like 20,000 in attendance. How would you feel in front of 90,000?
I mean, no matter the crowd, it's like preparation makes your confidence become just perfect. So if I'm feeling prepared and if I'm having the confidence within my team to feel prepared, and I know that they're putting in the work that they need to, then anything like outside noise, external noise won't come into our preparation. You know what I mean?
Nice, solid answer. So speaking of preparation, let's take it all the way back to the beginning. Where are you from?
I am from Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas.
Yes, sir.
You know, a lot of gymnasts come from Texas. We're starting to realize that Texas is clearly where the breeding grounds for top gymnasts. So, you know, for you, family dynamics growing up, I looked and saw, you know, obviously you come from a gymnastics family. You know, tell me about your family. Who all, you know, siblings, what we got?
Well, we got my mom, who was the first American to ever win the Olympics in gymnastics, the all around, to get a gold medal. We have my oldest sister that grew up doing gymnastics, but never like reached that point to go through college athletics through gymnastics, but she got a scholarship to Baylor acro tumbling, and they won 3 consecutive national championships for Baylor acro tumbling. My second oldest sister, her name is McKenna, and she was on the LSU gymnastics team. They honestly, from my knowledge, I don't think they ever won. I could be wrong, so don't keep my word. So I was pretty young. I was like doing my gymnastics very strictly, so I never could like go watch her.
So you say you were very young. That was going to be my next question is what's the gap between you and your older sisters?
7 years. So my oldest sister, same parents and everything. It's a gap between 7 years. So my oldest sister is 28. I'm 21. And then it goes to 5, which is McKenna. That's the one that did gymnastics at LSU. She is 26. And then my third sister, the one right above me, is 23. And then I'm 21. And the one that's closest to me in age, she was a normal girl. She went to Texas Tech. She was in a sorority, and my parents supported her to the day she wanted to be in a sorority and quit gymnastics.
I got you. And so, you know, when your mom is Mary Lou Retten, for you girls, is gymnastics something that she wanted you all to do, or is it something that y'all wanted to do because your mom, like you said, was the first, you know, Olympic medal winner from the United States?
I mean, I get this question a lot, and my mom always told us, if you do not want to do gymnastics, please let me know. I do not want to do gymnastics if you don't want to do it. She literally basically gave us every excuse to quit, but we always had that fire inside of us to want to do it. At least 3 out of the 4 daughters. The one
That's,
that's closest in age,
that's that
she said,
reverse psychology stuff they're pulling. That's that newfound parenting skill. You gotta.
yeah,
You,
no, I see where you're coming from, but yes and no. My mom always, she never coached us. She never wanted to do anything with our gymnastics. Like, always on our hip, always supporting us. Like, literally never cared if we wanted to do gymnastics or not.
Well,
She was the most supportive person in our lives about gymnastics.
well, whether she pushed you or not, I think any kid, when they see their parents in a certain light, and especially one that accomplished what she did, there's something internal where you want to do that. And I think, you know, I don't think she really had to probably push. It was something that you probably wanted to do with. And with that, I want to ask, you know, like, I mean, usually someone of your caliber starts really early. So when did you start gymnastics?
I started when I was 2 years old and mommy and me classes.
And that's
So very,
usually the common answer. It's 2, sometimes earlier. It's like, you know, like, I don't know what I was doing at 2 years old, but I definitely wasn't doing anything like y'all were doing.
right.
Daniel,
But
what age did your daughter start?
just two.
She was 2. Yeah, he's got a
We
up
we
and
would.
up and comer.
We'll see.
uh,
There's a lot to be desired there. No, at 2, it was like same thing. You know, it's the parent on the floor with the kid taking them through, and it's more about having fun and like you're doing things that are building foundational skills, but like you don't you don't understand it until you get to where she's at now, where she's almost
yeah,
6, and then you go, oh shoot, that's why she was doing those things because she needs to be able to do this.
exactly. No, that's like the foundation of gymnastics. You have to have like the basic skills in order to build up to where you become. Yeah.
Right, and
Sure.
he downplays it, but he sends me videos, and his daughter's doing things that sticks on a bar that, like, I mean, I couldn't have done it at any point, and I was athletic. Like, I mean, flipping around on a bar like that, like, that's just not the norm for kids.
Right. Yeah. I see what y'all, I see where both of y'all are coming from.
So, you know, talking about things we've learned on this show from gymnasts, you know, school is not normal either. When you train the way that y'all do, you know, I think back to Kaya Johnson was the first ever gymnastics guest we had on here, and she said she wasn't able to go to a normal high school, and everything with the way she was training. With you, how did that play out? Were you able to go through normal schooling, or because you competed at the level you did, it looked different for you?
So growing up, I lived in a very just like, I don't know, area where everyone that their parents, they would send their kids to like a private school or like a private elementary school, whatever it is. So I grew up in a private elementary school to middle school. And then I was like, literally, I'll never forget. I was like, Mom, Dad, I want to like not go to school as much and I want to go to gymnastics way more than school. And they were like, okay, well, the only option, honey, is homeschooling. And I was like, I'm so in, like, I'm down, let's do it. So I became homeschooled. Um, and I still had like the foundation and the base of like my friends. So I still had a social life. And my parents were very adamant on me not just being homeschooled and not having a life outside of that. They were like, I still want you to hang out with your friends. I still want you to have that foundation of a social life. I don't want you to be just a kid that just cares about school and gymnastics and that's it. So like whenever we had 2-a-days at homeschooling practices, like we would go 8 to 11 and then 2 to 6. Like between 11 and 2, I would go to our country club and I'd go swimming with my friends. Like that's how important my parents like wanted me to have a social life. And then when I started to get older, I was like, wow, this like is my whole life. Because you know, when you're young, like you want to do something and then you realize whenever you get like to a teenager, you're like, oh wow, like this is everything that I've committed my life to. Then I still committed myself to it. I moved to Dallas and I'm still homeschooled. moved with just my mom and trained at a different gym because apparently like they had the best coaches there for my Olympic aspirations, my elite aspirations. And then whenever my elite career was over, I moved back to Houston and then went to public school for my last 2 years of high school and actually became a public school cheerleader.
And what was that like? I mean, you go from that high competition to like I think of the movie, and I'm going to expose myself again, Daniel, but I think of the movie Bring It On, where the girl is the gymnast. And she hey, your wife picked it in the sports movie draft. Don't sit there and play me. Anyway,
You think I won't say that to her face? That's a terrible movie.
Anyway, Emma, I don't know if you've seen it, but anyway, she's a gymnast and she
Yeah.
joins the cheerleading squad, and she, basically makes fun of them because it's not her cup of tea. Did it feel anything like that?
Not at all. I mean, I feel like I fit right in. I was a flyer, I was a base, I was a side base because I was flexible and I was strong and I was also very cooperative with every single position because gymnastics teaches you discipline. It teaches you how to cooperate with other positions. It teaches you how to just have high energy, and it teaches you when you don't need to have high energy. So cheerleading was honestly my way of having fun because gymnastics is so serious, it's so strict, especially when you homeschool it. So when I got to high school, like real high school, I was like, let's have fun. Let's do this.
Yeah, no, I think it's very underrated. Daniel will say this, and if he doesn't agree with me, he's lying through his teeth. Our cheerleading team won multiple national championships down in Orlando, and
Yeah.
they would be practicing way later than we would. Well, we get done with football, and they would be in there still getting it, and their routines were just awesome. And so I think, cheerleading, sometimes people can always just think about the rah-rah stuff that you see at the games, but if you actually go watch them compete and see what they do, it's next level stuff. Would you at least agree with that, Daniel?
Yeah, of course. There's not a single thing that I don't respect when it comes to what they can do. The amount of time that they put into it is way more time than I think I would ever want to put into anything in my entire life.
And hey,
Okay, well, I will add to that. It's definitely changed over the years because like public schools have now changed their ways of like their public cheerleading squad has now turned into a competitive cheerleading squad. So like it never used to be like that. Like a public school will just like cheer on the sidelines and be like, go football. But now it's like they're like changing their ways to become a competitive cheerleading team against like other competitive club cheerleading teams. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, because that's basically every sport now across the board. It's become, I have a daughter who plays soccer, and nothing's done at a recreation level anymore, and even the high school team is not the priority. It's the club travel team. It's putting on the showcases, and we talk to every athlete. Baseball is probably our bread and butter, and they can play for a 4-time state champion. They're never going to get the looks they're going to see if they go travel to a showcase to wherever.
Right. Okay, wait. Can I pause y'all for a second? Not like a second. I'm just literally gonna grab my phone cord. My phone's on 5. So 1 second. Like
No, you're good. Daniel, she's gonna make sure I work harder than I've ever had to work.
Good. It's been a while. You need to.
Yeah, Emma, you're keeping me on my toes. You're good now. You don't even have to rush because I'm gonna edit this out. I like when I don't have to do much edit work. You're gonna make sure that I get all my edit work practice in because it's been a while. We've had some clean episodes.
I love that. I'll keep you
I'm glad you love it.
It's good.
I love that you don't love it.
He claims to be a producer. So we're gonna
y'all gave me that title with the capital PRO. That was y'all. Anyway, all right. So we're gonna act like none of that just happened, and here we go. So you're a level 10 gymnast competing for fun and fitness gymnastics out of Richmond, Texas. You finished 4th in the all-around at the Texas State Championships. Had top scores involved of 9.8. On the floor, you had 9.675. You competed twice in 2019 at the Kurt Thomas Invitational and the Starstruck Invitational. Talk to me, Kaya, going back to that first episode, obviously we've had numerous gymnasts since then. but was breaking down, you know, the levels, things, and understanding level 10 and just what that means. So, and I've talked about Texas as well. Talk about what it's like competing level 10 gymnasts in Texas, and, you know, talk to me about the level of competition and maybe even some names we might know that you competed against.
Okay, so just to start off, Texas alone could go to the Olympics as a state representing a country. So Texas is literally like, for example, we just had an elite competition with Simone Biles, Jocelyn Robertson, literally like Zoe Miller, all of their, it's world champion center.
Who's the girl?
They're
Who's
all-
the girl that's committed to LSU that is like next level that was competing in that? Do you know?
Was it Zoe? I don't want to be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Zoe Miller.
I just know I read on it and they said LSU's future is bright because this girl.
Connor McLean.
Yes, that's her. Yes.
Connor McLean. Yeah. Connor McLean. But she didn't compete in the most previous. Whatever. I'll restart. So Texas alone as a state could be represented for the Olympics as a country. And with that being said, competing in level 9, level 10 state championships against the best gymnast in the world, finishing 4th all around in a state championship is amazing. Like, that is such a great accomplishment that I could ever have. And just to give everyone just like a background information, level 10 is basically the collegiate level that you need to be at in order to get a scholarship, in order to get recruited. But the college eye and the college recruitment of the head coaches always look at the elite recruits, which is a level above level 10. So it's like you have level 8, level 9, level 10, and then you have elite. So colleges always look at elite athletes first, and then they look at level 10s. But the elite athletes, once again, they're all from Texas, and they could be represented as a state, but more as a country for USA.
Did you go against Kaya at all? Because she obviously being from Texas.
So me and Kaya Johnson, we were teammates at Texas Streams whenever I moved to Texas Streams in Dallas, Texas. More exact, Coppell, Texas. We were on a team called the Dream Team, which is a select few of gymnasts that the head coach, Kim Zemeskel, and Chris Burdett picked. And they picked it based off of the talent that the gymnast showed. And it was only a handful of 10 gymnasts that were on the Dream Team. And we create this like really close bond, because you create a bond whenever you go through hard times together, right? Mm-hmm. So all of the Dream Team athletes created this really close bond, and that's how me and Kaya became friends.
Gotcha.
And at that time, me and her were both committed to LSU. Yeah,
that's exactly where I was going to go. I was going to ask you. So, you know, you were committed to LSU. How is it that you would end up as Arkansas as your choice?
Okay. So I'm really strong in my religion, and I'm really strong with my faith. And I know God has a reason for all things. And yes, I was committed to LSU since 8th grade, whenever the recruiting process was very different than it is nowadays. I mean, you could commit to a college when you were like 12 years old and you don't even know what you want to do. Like, your major was just unfigured out, whatever. You could have amputees on both your legs and whatever, you're still committed to that college. But nowadays, the rules have changed for that reason. I got surgery on my UCL, and they called it a business decision. We don't have to put this in, but we can if you really want to. So I got surgery on my UCL, and they called it a business decision that said it was best for their college and it was best for their class of 2020 for me not to commit. So they pulled my scholarship away, and I searched to other colleges, and that's where I got my offer from Arkansas. And I have never been more happy to be where I am today, because I know I've met my future husband.
Hey, that works. But before Daniel gets into Arkansas, is somebody who feels the same way. It's crazy. You know the graphic that always says your plan and it's got the straight and narrow road and then it says God's plan. It says
Yeah.
that it's funny how that works. So probably in real time you thought this was a mess and then you just said it was all worth it. So it's crazy how that always comes to be.
No, it's so crazy how it always comes to be real, because I was so lost in life and I was like, oh my goodness, like my plan was set. Like I was roommates with Elena and I was roommates with Livy. Like we had like all of our rooms set out. We were roommates. Like we planned out our color schemes. Like we had been on visits together. We were best friends. And then I had to like create a whole nother group of best friends. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm the oldest one. I'm the last to commit. I literally committed the day before signing day. So it's crazy. It's really crazy. But God's real and he's great.
So you end up at Arkansas in 2021. Obviously, 2020 to 2021 is a crazy year for everybody.
Yeah.
It was a shortened season and you didn't compete. Was that because you're still rehabbing the UCL, or was it because it was a shortened season and it was like, well, I don't want to push it, or what was the case?
So I actually broke my hand. I broke my left middle finger, or not my middle finger, my ring finger. I broke it like on the knuckle part. I was doing a bar routine and I caught, oh, there goes my phone. Sorry, because I'm charging it. I was doing a skill called an overshoot. Can y'all see me?
Yep.
Okay. I was doing a skill called an overshoot, which is from a high bar to a low bar release move. And I caught with my hand like flipped under and it broke anyways. So, and it was right before season started and it was like an 8-week process. But whenever you break something that close to season, whenever it starts, you cannot get back into the lineups because they are set in stone.
Wow. So because you're practicing and you have wraps and all this stuff, basically the equipment that you typically use for a routine on your hands, is that what prevents you from bending or being able to maneuver yourself from breaking it? Or was it either you do that or you fall and something, even worse could happen?
So gymnasts are used to wearing grips, and that's like the little equipment that we wear on our hands. And we're so used to it. So it had nothing to do with the grips. It was the way that I did the skill. So it was all on me. I went too hard on my release move and I caught it wrong and it was all my fault. I probably would have done it better if I went more smoothly, but no, yeah, it wasn't the way I was wrapped. It wasn't the way I was taped. It was all on me.
Gotcha. So being able to take a step back, you're hurt, you can't do anything. So you're watching because the rosters are set in stone, like you said. Now, what do you learn from that experience? Is it kind of like refreshing to be able to go, all right, this is my first year, like I can kind of sit back and take all this in? Or was it aggravating and like pisses you off because you can't get out there and do?
Well, honestly, like being on a college team, no matter if you're competing or not, you always want to find your role in the team. And my role in that team was supporting my teammates to be the best that they could be to represent my team that I couldn't compete for.
Makes sense. You obviously you get a chance in 2022. You get your first spot on vault against Ohio State. You hit a 9.8. It was a meet that you guys won. You appeared in the vault lineup 8 times, bars twice, and floor once. Going back to that first meet, like what were the emotions like? Because it was a long time coming, and now here it is, boom, like now the hard work, now you actually got to do.
Well, with my college debut being like, so at a home meet, you start on vault, right? And, well, if you don't know, at a home meet, you always start on vault because the Olympic order is vault, bars, beam, floor. So that is the order that college gymnasts go through whenever you're at a home meet. And with my first college debut being, I'm the first one to start this meet off, like ever, I was like, oh my gosh, like as soon as I raise my hands, like the meet starts. So like I honestly took that on as like a challenge and like a fire underneath my like soul. I was like, okay, let's do this. Like, let's start this. So as soon as I raised my hands, I had full confidence in myself. I had full confidence in my training. I was ready to go, and I set the stage for the rest of my team.
So, given the first meet is in the books, all right. Given that your family is a gymnastics family, like
Mhm.
what is there a phone call from the family, mom, dad, sisters? Is it immediately after the meet, or is there like this, you know, unknown rule, like you need like an hour to decompress? Like what happens after the meet, and when does family start giving their critiques?
So honestly, my family never gives critiques because everyone knows that you're your own human being yourself, and you can never live up to anyone's expectations, and you can never live up to anyone's goals and dreams because you have your own yourself, you know? So I think it's like, I mean, they're always going to be there to support me no matter what. They're always going to be there in the crowd. They're always going to give me a clap. They're always going to give me a smile and a hug. But most importantly, they're always going to be there for me no matter how I do, no matter if I fall on my face, or no matter if I get a 10.0. My family is always there for me no matter what. And I never have this pressure. I never have this awkward hour after a meet. They're just always there for me. I am willing to text them as soon as I compete. I could run to the bathroom and text them as soon as I land my vault. Or I could wait 2 days and text them and be like, hey guys, stuck that vault. Like there's never no pressure. And it's an amazing feeling to have.
It's probably, it leaves like you the opportunity to really enjoy what you do. There's no extra pressure that you're putting on yourself, because obviously you're a competitor. You want to go and you want to do well,
Right.
or else you wouldn't be there and you wouldn't put in the work and the effort and the grind on a day-to-day basis.
What's cool,
But
Daniel, is think about how many guests we've had where they've had older siblings or they've had parents. She said that they're their own person. So many of them have put expectations because their older brother or older sister set the bar. Their parents set the bar. I mean, her mom obviously set the bar, but she said she's her own person. So she doesn't try to compare herself. And, you know how that can go. You can start to then, crumble because you're not meeting the expectations of your older sibling or your parent.
yeah, I mean, it's you don't read the history books, you just write your own, and that's the book that you live by. So
Yes, sir.
um so that year, obviously, you guys, it was an up and down season. You won the last four meets to advance to Norman for the regionals. So talk to me about the three meets in Denver when y'all got hot, and like what clicked or what changed for you guys to start making that run towards the end of the season.
This topic is a little bit not like sensitive, but I hate to speak for my whole team because like each team member is so important to the team chemistry and like the team situation that I don't want to put words into that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a testament really to the team itself, because you go to a point where you get hot and like things are clicking and like everybody is doing their part, and it just works itself out.
Yes, sir.
Um, so in Oklahoma, what was that experience like in the regional, the atmosphere, and how good was it? Um, just being there and experiencing that.
I mean, obviously, our so in gymnastics, you have like seeds and you have seatings. So it depends on how you do at the meet before, and that's how you get seated into your regionals. And if we would have done better in the previous meets, we would have been seated in an easier regional. So we would not have been against the number one team. And
Speaking
Oklahoma is the number one team.
speaking of Oklahoma, specifically, how good were they? Like, you don't want to take anything away from them by, you were seated, up against them, but they were pretty good. Like, they were really good.
They won it all.
Yeah. Like, how good in your mind, like, was it, like, oh my God, like these girls are good, or was it like, man, we should be there. That's us. We should be able to beat them.
Yes, they're very good, but we have as much talent as they have. And it's what we decide to do with our talent, and it's how much commitment that we are willing to give in our outside lifestyles towards our inside lifestyles of gymnastics is what it really comes down to.
And it's hard. I mean, we go back to, the balance, and you give up and you sacrifice a lot at an early age for gymnastics to be really good. And, regardless of what route you're going on, once you get to college and you're on the team, like, there's still a level of sacrifice. And some people's level of sacrifice might be higher than others, but, it all has to mesh and it all has to work and it all has to click. But so talk to me about last year. And you appeared in only 3 events. There was an injury. You were the leadoff on the vault every event, but then against Minnesota, you get a new personal high as the anchor. Talk us through the difference of leading off versus being the anchor.
So it's funny that you asked that, because being the position I was in last year was what my coaches said the hardest position that you can be in as a team player and a teammate representing the team. And the reason that is because so in gymnastics, you have 6 up, 5 count. So you can have 6 gymnasts compete, but only 5 scores count. And in gymnastics, you have a 10.0 start value, and you also have a 9.95 start value. And a Yurchenko full is a 9.95. That's the highest you can score no matter what. If you stick it, that's basically a 10 if you get a 9.95. But if you do a 1.5 and add an extra twist, like a half twist to that, that starts from a 10.0. And if you stick that, you have the level of getting a 10.0, which is basically what gymnastics you're always trying to strive for, is a 10.0, perfect score. So the reason that I was the anchor is because my teammate that warmed up, she had the potential to get a 10.0 start value and a 10.0 score because she did a 1.5. So she did an extra twist than me, but I was so consistent with my just full twist, and she was so inconsistent with her 1.5 twist. So she landed her 1.5 twist on her butt, but also had the potential that if she were to salute her hands, she would have an extra rush of adrenaline and maybe land it and serve the team a half tenth higher all around score if she were to land it. But they went ahead and went with me because I'm so consistent, so they could count on me to get a 9.8 or higher. But if they went with her, she could get a 9.0 or lower.
Right.
There we go.
And makes sense now that you've explained it. And either way, like, there's some strategy to who's being positioned where.
Daniel, and then
So-
actually, I'm glad she explained that, because I've watched so many LSU events over the last few years, and I've seen where they've made a lineup change, and I didn't really understand why, and now I did. Sometimes they've put someone else in completely different, or they've moved them around, and usually the times in which they do it is when it'll be a time when vault is like last, right? So obviously, based upon what Emma's saying is, they know what they need to get it done. So, hey, let's get in, like she said, the model of consistency and get it done and win this thing.
Yes, sir.
So, last season, Jim has the opportunity to, watch you guys take on LSU. He made fun of the facility being called the barn. And, don't hate on him. He's just being an LSU fan, But he did go on to say, like y'all deserve that win, and you competed your butts off and you deserved it. But, asking you that was in it, what is it like, competing and beating a top 10 SEC opponent when you really know that you got to have this win?
Well, I think it's like our demeanor inside of ourselves is like we're willing to be relentless, and relentless is a completely different meaning than just being an athlete. If you're relentlessly willing to win, you're willing to give yourself and to your team everything that you've got. You're willing to put everything on the table. But if you're just wanting to win, you can put a couple of days of practice on the table. But if you're relentlessly willing to win, which is what our team did against LSU, then it can't be stoppable. Like, we're gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, y'all looked really, really good. I messaged him, and typically fans will start making excuses, right? Why they lost. Like, you start seeing the LSU message boards. Oh, we were underscored, or we were cheered, whatever. And it was like outside of because I made the joke on it being called the board. I said outside the name, I said Arkansas did their thing. I was like, that's the only critique I got. I said Arkansas was the better team, and I had no issue with y'all winning.
Hey, and don't get me wrong, I was committed there since 8th grade. Like, I was a diehard LSU fan. So I was on your side until I wasn't.
There you go. And then, according to you, it was the best decision you ever made where you're at.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, that brings us up to present day. Obviously, coming into this upcoming season, what's your health look like? Are we healthy? Are we ready to go?
Yes, sir. I am bodily healthy. I've gone through a couple of like autoimmune diagnoses, and I'm just struggling through that in the previous years, but I've gotten my medication underhand, so like none of that's an issue. So yeah, I'm pretty healthy right now.
Nice. So what's the expectations for the squad this year? What are we looking at? Is it national championship, or is it just give yourself an opportunity to get there?
I think it's just to upgrade. Like, our program has so much potential, and our program has it all together if we were to upgrade relentlessly. And I think our key word is relentless this year, because if we are to upgrade and if we are to do it relentlessly and put it all on the table, give everything that we got, Arkansas is no longer going to be the underdog. It's no longer going to be like, oh, that's the team you're going against. Oh, that's an easy win. It's going to be the team, oh, you're going against Arkansas. I hope it's a good fight. I hope that's a good meet to watch. So that's our goal.
So I'll say it for you, because it sounds like you're wanting to say this, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but all y'all other teams, you've been put on notice. When you take on Arkansas, you better be ready for a fight. It's going to be a relentless assault of just, you're not going to be ready. If you come in there sleeping on the Hogs, you're not going to be ready. So
I love that. Yes, sir.
I said it for you. I hope that I did it justice, but obviously every girl on the squad has a valuable piece to what they do. But who's the one person that you can go, that's the one that you got to look out for, because she can make this thing a whole different level?
To answer your question, I don't have a single person, because a team is a group of people that makes every single person's quality shine. And without that one person, we wouldn't have a team.
So
Emma's a good teammate, because we've had Kaya, KJ, and Alana on, and if you asked all three of them that same question, they say Haley Bryant.
well, I that was a trick question, Emma, because I talked to Coach Weber, and she told me to ask you that question just to see what you would say. So it was a trick, and you passed. You passed. You didn't. You said that the team,
failed for me. I don't know who to look for now. I got to watch everybody and figure out who is that go-to person.
No matter if it was a trick question or not, it's the truth, and it's.
I know. I kid. So
I know.
Speaking of Jordan Weaver as the coach. What is it like, learning and being under her?
I mean, it's been a great opportunity. I mean, I was her first recruit ever. Fun fact. Yeah, I was her first recruit ever. And honestly, the main thing I've learned of being on a team is leadership. I've learned to be a leader. I've learned how to portray my skills. She teaches you not only gymnastic skills, but she teaches you lifelong skills. So she'll give you lifelong lessons of how to be a successful person in the long run, not only a gymnast, but in the business world and the future career. Because, right, we're student athletes. Student becomes before an athlete does, right? So she teaches us how to be a successful student before we become a successful athlete.
Sounds like my kind of coach. So with that, we're going to play a game. And with some of these questions, Emma, you've danced around a little bit and I want to answer, but this is this or that. And you're the 217th guest to play. So
stop it. Wait, hold on. Did you say 217th?
Yes. Is that like a special number? Where we at here? Do we got a face? We got an expression?
Oh, okay. That is actually no. I'm like breathtaking right now. 217 is the number 217. I see every single place, and that is my boyfriend's birthday. His number is 17 on his football. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe you just said that. Sorry, that is insane.
All right.
That's the number I see everywhere. Anyways.
So with that, all right, it's this or that. And there's no saying either, and there's no saying both, and you can't bounce around. You gotta be decisive. You gotta pick one or the other.
All right.
All right, here we go. Simple question to start off. What's more important to you, breakfast or lunch?
Breakfast.
Absolutely. All right. You said you weren't going to get to make it to the football game, but if you had a choice to choose between going to Arkansas baseball or Arkansas football, eliminate the boyfriend. Let's just go atmosphere, the game itself. Are you going baseball or are you going football? Because Arkansas baseball is legit. So that's a loaded question.
Football. I'm not a baseball girl. That game is way too slow. I get so bored.
I saw pictures of you on IG at the baseball game. With our boy Ledbetter.
Oh, I love Austin. No, he's one of my
But
best
I'm going to
friends.
tell him that you think baseball's slow and boring now.
He knows. He knows that.
She ain't lying, and she's not she's in the majority when she says that.
Coming from a baseball player, you're down in your own sport, bro.
Look, I'll be the first to tell you, baseball needs to. I've played a lot of baseball games. I've coached a lot of baseball games. I've watched a lot of baseball games, and it's slow. It really is.
Yeah.
All right.
Who need? All right. So this is my last little thing on this. Who needs to warm up in the bullpen for 25 and 30 pitches and then go on the mound and get 7 more? Who needs that?
LSU, so we can win our championship. Moving on. All right, don't duck me on this.
That is so true. Thank you.
Daniel,
literally, who needs that?
Our audience hates you, Daniel. They're baseball fans for the most part.
I'm a baseball fan too, but I'm gonna give you the truth about the sport.
Well, I'm glad because this next question we're gonna get truth out of Emma. And if she ducks me, I'm cutting this episode.
I cannot stand how long baseball takes. Anyways, go.
All right. If you have a chance, let's say you're a fan and you're not a competitor on the floor, you have a chance to watch either Suni Lee or Trinity Thomas.
Trinity Thomas.
All right, Trinity Thomas or Haley Bryant.
Trinity Thomas.
All right, solid. Daniel, we don't disagree there. We actually have never had a Florida guest. We don't like Florida in anything, and we said Trinity Thomas would be our exception to that because as us watching gymnastics, we've never seen someone so incredible in college.
No, it's not even how good she is at gymnastics. It's how humble she is. Mm-hmm. She is the most just down-to-earth, most self-rised, centered human being I've ever met. She's one of my very good friends, so I
All
just
right.
know her as a
Well,
person.
you're gonna have to prove it since you just said she's one of your good friends. You tell her in off the bench has never had a Florida athlete, and we've had like 67 schools and like 15 different sports. Tell her she is the exception that will make because we want to talk to her because there's no one we'd rather watch, to be honest. Daniel, is that the first person you've been tuning in to watch?
No, Emma Kelley is.
Well played, well played. All right.
No, but really though, she is just such a humble person, and she's just a real human being. And I would pick her out of anyone any other day if it was against Simone Biles. It's Trinity Thomas.
I will tell you a fun fact on the Haley Bryant thing. Took my son to LSU last year for a meet, and he met Haley afterward, and he told her that she wasn't human, and she just smiled and laughed and was like, I appreciate it. And I was like, you ever been told that before? And she did do some ridiculous things that day that warranted my 10-year-old to think in such a way.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I'm really close with that class because that was my class. So we planned out our whole rooms and everything. It was me, Elena, Haley, and Livy. That was our class. But I'm at Arkansas now, and I could not be happier.
She gonna keep hammering that point, Daniel. Now, if you were left on an island with either no one, you're stranded there, no one, or your worst enemy, which one are you choosing?
My worst enemy, because let's make it right.
Mine's just because I like to talk to somebody, even if I got to argue. It's too lonely. I can't do the whole castaway making a volleyball my friend. It's just
Well,
not.
honestly, now that I think about it, I really don't think I have a worst enemy other than Satan.
Here you go.
Satan's
Well,
always
you're
been-
doing well in life if you have no enemies. Keep it up.
I really don't think I do. I've not been asked that question in a while.
I'll tell you, Emma, like, because the people aren't going to know it because I'm going to edit it, but you make me have to edit one more time. I'm going to be your worst enemy. You feel me? I had
No, but honestly, I'm happy y'all asking that because I really don't have a worst enemy. Yeah, no, I really don't.
That's good. I have acquired a lot over my time, unfortunately, but this isn't about me, and we're going to move on. Better Leos, the red and white, the red and black, or the all red?
Oh, red and white.
Those are okay. I'm glad you picked that. If not, I was going to have to debate you. I thought that was the best looking one as well.
Red and white.
That's probably, and Daniel's going to probably judge me again. I actually like on the college gymnastics forum when they're discussing Leos and these different events because it is such a huge part of the thing when, y'all don all y'all team break out new ones and like, especially when they're just awesome. Like it's a thing.
No, yeah, that's like a big moment in the gymnastic world is like, oh, here comes Arkansas wearing their new Leo of the year. Yeah, it's a big
until there's the bad one, right? Like LSU, I'm not going to say which one specifically. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings on this, but they had one 2 years ago, and I was like, ooh, like yeah, y'all should have rethought that one.
Hey, my sister went to LSU, so no bad hate.
All right. So, would you rather own a massive yacht or a private jet?
Massive yacht.
Me too. Daniel's on the jet way, but I'm with the yacht. Put me out on the water with the massive yacht.
I love cruises. That is my way to vacation. Put me on a boat. I love water. I love vacationing in the ocean. So
there you go. All right. So this next one is no vacation. It's one bad one or the other. Would you rather spend an hour in a walk-in freezer or 2 hours in a sauna?
Two hours in a sauna.
Me too. These guests that keep saying walk-in freezer, I don't think they've spent more than 5 minutes in a walk-in freezer. I don't want nothing to do with that. All right.
Hey, sauna, it gets all your toxins out.
All right, last one. And, I have a pretty good suspicion of what you're going to say. I mean, you've been a team person through and through this entire episode, but we're going to put you to the test. So Daniel comes through there and he drops a duffel bag with $1 million and says, you can either have this $1 million or Arkansas can win the national championship in gymnastics. What are you doing?
Are you serious? That's not even a question.
You're right,
I'm
because
definitely
it's an
gonna have-
easy answer. It's
$1
an
million.
for sure. You put that money.
Arkansas winning the national championship. Are you kidding?
What was great was our
Oh.
last guest was the national champion, and he literally said, if you took this ring that I have over here and put it next to the money, I'm going to take the ring. And I was like, it's easy for you to say when that money is not sitting there.
Yep.
Good for him.
So,
I love that.
all right, Emma, anything you want to plug or promote before you get out of here?
I will promote that God has a plan for every single person on this earth, and it will lay out to be how it is.
That's right. That's right.
That's
God above all. But
all. Yes, sir.
if you
God above
want
all.
to, that's right. If you want to check out more about what Emma's got going on, if you want to see what she's doing on Wednesday nights, maybe she's recording a podcast. Who knows? Going over to IG, Emma Jean Kelley. That's with an EY. Or if you want to see what the Razorbacks are doing this season in gymnastics, go to IG, Razorback Gym. Emma, this was great. Glad you came on. We wish you nothing but the best. Healthy season, safe season, and just be relentless. That's all I'm going to say. Be relentless.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I enjoyed every bit of it. I will continue to be relentless.
That's right. That's Emma Kelley, everybody. If you like hearing Emma's story or you like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook. Retweet us on Twitter or X, whatever you're calling it these days. It's all good. Listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. As always, comments, ratings, feedback, thumbs up, hearts, hugs, loves. We'll take it all. And we'll see everybody next week. We got episode 17 where we're continuing the gymnastics trend. We're going to be talking LSU gymnastics with Aaliyah Finnegan. This has been the In Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We're out.